door, I make them bitches hit the floor for keys. Yeah.
Travis got it here, and I'm back with some more boxing. Y'all know Deontay Wilder and all of these motherfucking bums is off the fucking chain, right? Now, I don't want to disrespect Tony Bellew too much, man, because he did just knock out David Haye. Deontay Wilder is showing interest in fighting Tony Bellew now, man. Now, like, yo, should we start showing Tony Bellew some respect? Should we put some respect on Tony Bellew's name? I'm just saying, the dude, I don't want to take away from his victory. Yo, let's be honest here. Let's put the cards on the table. Okay, Tony Bellew was moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight to take on David Haye in a fight where David Haye was saying like some pretty ferocious things to Tony Bellew. I think to get into his head. Maybe he was saying those things because he was worried. But still, Tony Bellew moved up in weight. All right. Now, Tony Bellew, he won the fight. Now, like I said, man, I'm not trying to take away from Tony Bellew's fight. And this ain't going to stop Deontay Wilder from making the fight anyways. That's what I'm saying. Okay, on fight week, there was rumors that something was wrong with David Haye's foot or his ankle or his leg or something. It was like an injury where they didn't even know if David Haye would be cleared to go through with the fight. This was before the fight. All right? And then during the fight, they say that he either suffered an injury during the fight or he could have just re-aggravated an injury during the fight. And David Haye, he went out there, guns blazing, and he was swinging pretty hard and pretty wild, trying to get Tony Bellew out of there early. And it looked like he gassed out. He gassed out trying to do it because he couldn't land that one shot. He did catch Tony Bellew with a couple of those shots too, and Tony Bellew was able to take him. It only I don't know how that shit works, man, because sometimes you just hit a fighter with a shot right on a button, even if it's not the most ferocious, extreme shot, a fighter goes out. But sometimes you hit a fighter with, it looked like you hit him with a fucking baseball bat, and then they just take this shit and stand up. But Tony Bellew took some of those shots from David Haye. And David Haye was limping all around the ring and shit. He really was fucked up. They said that David Haye's career is in jeopardy now because he kept fighting. It was like a Achilles something. I don't know the exact name for the injury that he suffered. But since he kept fighting, then he put his career in serious jeopardy. He might not be able to fight again. But, hey, Tony Bellew won a fight, right? Tony Bellew, he moved up in weight, and he knocked out David Haye. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to take away from his victory, but at the same time, we got to be honest with ourselves here. And Deontay Wilder is interested in making this fight. I'm just trying to tell you that this is going to be like another fucking bum for Deontay Wilder to fight. That's just what it is. This is like another cherry pick. Tony Bellew is a fat cruiserweight who knocked out a crippled heavyweight. That's what the fucking David Haye hasn't done nothing since he came back. David Haye has been fighting all fucking bums. He's fought 2 fucking bums since he came back. And then now what he fought? A fat cruiserweight, but he was fucking injured. Deontay Wilder isn't going to get any credit for this fight. Deontay Wilder said he's just going to have a couple more fights too before he just give it up. You know what I'm saying? So, he had a good run. He made a lot of fucking money. Just think if Deontay Wilder was to retire. Look, we're never going to give him the credit that he deserves. If he deserves any, I'm just saying. He is a heavyweight champion of the world, WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And all of his fights are sanctioned by the WBC. So in their eyes, he's the fighters that he's fighting isn't too much of a bum because they're being sanctioned by the WBC. The fans aren't head over heels by the fighters that he's fighting, but the WBC is okay with these fights. They're all title defenses. So just think if Deontay Wilder was to make it to 40-0 and maybe even 42-0, but just 40-0 and then retire undefeated, he would go down as like a really, really like down in the history books. You know, he would be remembered as one of the, I don't want to say one of the best, man, but like during our era, I just say during this decade, he would definitely be remembered as one of the best. Between 2010 and 2020, you will have to remember him as one of the top heavyweights. You got David Haye getting knocked out by Tony Bellew, and then you got David Haye getting outclassed by Vladimir Klitschko, you know, all these years back. You know, you got all of these fighters, man, they taking losses and shit, they getting their ass whooped. And then you got Deontay Wilder right here, and everybody is trying to take steroids in order to try to beat him. But he's still beating every fucking body. So, I think that Deontay Wilder would go down, man. He would be remembered as one of the top heavyweights, man, of this era. Like, you have to give it to him, man. 40-0. And then you look back at all of the other people that's losing. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, I can't control Deontay Wilder and who he's deciding to fight. Tony Bellew did just beat David Haye. Look, David Haye was viewed as... Look, I gave David Haye... Look, man, honestly, I would have gave David Haye a better chance at beating fucking Anthony Joshua than Deontay Wilder. Like, if we're being completely honest, man, I would have gave David Haye a better chance at beating Anthony Joshua than Deontay Wilder. Not saying, and then I seen the video, the sparring video, where David Haye had rocked Deontay Wilder. But I mean, it depends though, because David Haye was just swinging for the fences. You're not supposed to be trying to knock out your sparring partners like that. And it didn't look like Deontay Wilder was too wobbly, but it did look like a really hard shot, and he could have been. It was, I don't know, man. He caught him pretty hard in that sparring match. Now, it doesn't mean that he's a better fighter. I'm just saying, I seen the video. So, and Tony Bellew just stopped that guy. So, I mean, what was we wrong? Was we wrong about David Haye? No, we wasn't, because David Haye was injured. It's just a whole fucked up situation, man. Look, if Deontay Wilder was to fight Tony Bellew, that would be a really big fight. Regardless of what the fuck we say about it. It's going to be a really big fight. David Haye could go overseas for that fight. Look, I mean, Deontay Wilder can go overseas for that fight. Because the simple fact is, Deontay Wilder is guaranteed to knock out Tony Bellew. He's not going to go into the fight injured. He's not going to go into the fight a one-legged fighter. He's gonna knock out Tony Bellew how Tony Bellew needs to get knocked out, by being a fat cruiserweight. I mean, come on, man. I think David Haye weighed about 225 pounds, and he was all muscle. And then Tony Bellew was about 213 pounds, all fat, flabber and shit. Just looked fucking disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he didn't even train for the fight. If you fighting at cruiserweight where the limit is at 200 and you didn't have to make weight, and that's what you look like. That's what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he didn't even, okay, I ain't got to make weight for this fight. I could just weigh whatever the fuck I want to weigh. He didn't train his midsection or nothing. But he still had power going on late into the fight. Enough power where he could have knocked David Haye through the ropes like Bernard Hopkins and shit. So, look, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about this fight. I really don't. Deontay Wilder is probably going to go through it. If he can't get Joseph Parker and unify with the WBO, just think, like, this is all kind of fuck shit. Look, Deontay Wilder is undefeated. And just think, if he unify with motherfucking Joseph Parker, and then he get the WBO title, and then he just have like a couple more fights and he retire 40-0 or 41-0, you know, with 2 belts, man, you would have to give him a lot of fucking credit. Even though us that lived during the era, we gonna say that he fought off fucking bums. But it ain't gonna matter, because when people remember and they look back, all they gonna see is a 0. That's all people remember. You know, just like with the other fighters in the past. What's the first thing that you look at? When you look at their record and try to judge how great of a fighter that they was back in the day before your time, you look at their record. All you see is a 0. You don't know. You don't know like how good of a certain fighter was or whatever. All you see is a 0, or you see how many losses they had, how many wins they had. So look, man, if you want to go and knock out Tony Bellew, I don't mind, man. Look, you want to knock out Tony Bellew, it's okay. All right, Tony Bellew just knocked out David Haye. David Haye, you know, he was a major player at heavyweight. He really was. He's a really big draw, really big attraction. He fucked it up, man. It kind of pissed me off and shit. But if all you gonna do is cherry pick and fight fucking bums, I don't feel sorry for you. But you know, David Haye was doing a lot of ratings and shit. It's gonna be hard for him to bounce back from this loss unless he's able to secure a Tony Bellew rematch, and then he used to do the job on Tony Bellew. But if you lose again, you fucked, bro. I don't have a problem with this fight. All right, you know, I'd rather see Deontay Wilder fight Tony Bellew and knock him out than going and fighting some unknown bum. So if he decides to fight Tony Bellew, if he can't unify with Joseph Parker, I don't have no problem with it, man. But I expect Deontay Wilder to knock Tony Bellew the fuck out. I'm Travis Gotti. Thank you for tuning in to Travis Gotti Boxing. Subscribe.